of a common, she said.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is August 13th, 2019. The time is 7:30. Would you please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the clerk please call the roll?
Cannon.
Here.
Budmetz.
Present.
Veneziano.
Here.
Besessi.
Here.
Diastis.
Present.
Sonoyka. Here.
With 6 present and 1 absent, there is a quorum, and therefore members of the audience are reminded that these proceedings are being videotaped for current and future broadcasts over the city's cable television channel for current and future broadcasts. First order of business that we have here is to approve the minutes from the July 16th, 2019 Committee of the Whole meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Besessi. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman Cannon and Budmatz. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions that we should be cognizant of for those sets of Committee of the Whole meeting minutes? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Nay. The ayes have it. Those minutes are approved. The next set of minutes are for July 23rd, 2019 City Council meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman Cannon. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions to those minutes? Alderman
Mr. Mayor,
Diastis.
I will not be voting on that since I was not here.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Seeing none other than the omission by Alderman Diastis, all those in favor of these minutes say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Those City Council meeting minutes shall be approved. Moving right along. That 5th week in July really makes things feel like they've been lengthened out quite a bit. I can't believe that district schools here in the area are already back to school starting as recently as tomorrow. In this period of 3 weeks off, we had a series of events. One of them was the Chamber of Commerce golf outing, which took place on July 26th. They had a new venue, which was in Arlington Lakes, and it was a change of pace and a good turnout, and I expect that it'll be even better the following year at the same location. We also had game and movie night with a cop, which I had a lot of feedback from families after speaking with them. Chief, you did a wonderful job. Thank you for stepping up and being done. Then recently, the National Night Out, we made ABC Channel 7 News. I had nothing but accolades from residents whom I encountered regarding that event, and I think every year it just gets better and better. So thank you to everybody who was responsible for putting that together, planning, and executing. Also getting some feedback on the progress of Kirchhoff Road and the construction. Seems like sentiment is changing. People are becoming happier as the lanes are expanding, and we're increasing those lanes, both directions. And again, with the lanes and increasing those lanes, just be careful and cautious for kids going to and from school. With that, are there any ward reports? Alderman Veneziano.
Thank you. I have 2 items to report from residents. Both were directed to PD, which I spoke to Chief Nowacki about this week. First was for a concern about cars speeding on Pheasant and Meadow, cutting through with a lot of the Kirchhoff. So he did tell me that they put some extra patrols out. The second was a concern with kids going back to school and the Kirchhoff construction. So I'll let Chief Nowacki explain their plan for that.
Thank you. Yeah, what we have been doing, obviously, the pedestrian safety, especially the kids crossing Kirchhoff Road, is a great concern for us. So we have instructed our crossing guards to make sure they report any hazards or anything promptly. We also will have some extra patrols monitoring those crossings. We also will put out some additional signage, and we're hoping, like I said, the road project does get completed fairly quickly. But like I said, we'll have extra officers out there to monitor and make sure the kids are crossing safely, and there is a crossing guard at that location too.
Thank you. Any other aldermen with ward reports?
The only thing that was really mentioned to me this since our last meeting was, and I'm sorry, I didn't call you yet, Barry. Residents asking about the calendar we used to put out, and I told them it was cut due to budgetary concerns at some point. But they asked if we would take a look when we do our budget to see if we can do that community calendar again.
Okay.
So that was it.
Thank you for bringing that up. Alderman Budmats.
Seeing that Alderman O'Brien's not here, I will speak on his behalf because one of his members of his ward did send an email to us at 6 o'clock yesterday morning asking about the Kirchhoff Road construction that began at 3:30. Any comments that you could, or any clarity you could provide us with?
Yes, thank you, Alderman Budmats. We did contact that resident directly today and informed her that that was not approved by the city. That contractor either did it without state approval or with state approval and not city approval. We have since reprimanded the state and the contractor to not do those things. Their intention was to remove the traffic control without the traffic on the road, but there's an opportunity for them to work with us in advance of that kind of work, and we certainly could have put out information beforehand, but they did not. So, again, we're very apologetic to the people we offended that morning, but again, that was not approved by the city. It was either the state or the contractor, and they have since been told to not do that.
Thanks. Yeah, other than that, I've heard from several residents about chickens. Chickens are the talk of the town right now. And right now in my ward, chickens are not winning. So I'm willing to take more input, though, from my residents.
Thanks for the update.
Thanks.
Alderman Cannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think all of us up here sometimes have a tendency to dwell on things that are maybe more on the negative side as opposed to the positive. So tonight I would just like to have a nice shout out to our Public Works Department. As many of you may be aware, they're rebuilding 6 roads out in my neighborhood. And I cannot tell you how many people have called me up or stopped me to compliment me on what the city has done for them, both from a communication standpoint, and it's very difficult when they put oil and stuff down and get their cars in and out. We have a couple people with disabled. They've bent over backwards to help them. So I just wanted to say thanks for all the great work they're doing.
Thanks. It's good to get positive PR. Thank you for doing that. Moving right along, if there aren't any other ward reports, then we will go ahead and look at the sign-in sheet for this meeting being open to the public for the next 20 minutes. There are 2 signatures on the list, so with that, then I am going to go ahead and read this in advance, just so everybody's clear of the rules, and in order to secure the rights of citizens to a fair and just representation before the elected officials and to guarantee to the elected officials an order and dignified form in which to conduct the city's business, no person shall be allowed to engage in any activity that will disturb or disrupt the orderly proceedings of the City Council. Per the rules of procedure, the public is to address the City Council, and the fact that no member of the City Council responds does not mean that the City Council or any member thereof agrees or disagrees with the comment. Each person addressing the City Council shall state their name. Each person shall be granted no more than 5 minutes of the allotted 20 minutes in order to address the City Council. Questions and/or commentary shall be limited to city business. Comments supporting or opposing a nominated person's candidacy for elective office of the city shall be out of order. Commentary shall be directed to the presiding officer unless the presiding officer permits the individual to address the council members or the city officers present. Profanity shall not be used in any form or manner going forward. First name on the sign-in sheet is Ryan Guma.
Good evening, Council. I'd like to bring up my partner, David Pedersen. Hello. We're here to talk about the G1 license that we talked about a few weeks ago in the Committee of the Whole meeting. And we brought, well, first of all, I think all of you guys have been to Big B's and seen our operation there. I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to come out. We appreciate that. One of the main points that we just wanted to get across was that we are a restaurant here, and you guys licensed us as a restaurant 5 years ago. and we've been paying taxes on food and beverage as a restaurant for 5 years. And we are trying to figure out why we're not considered a restaurant today when we have an opportunity to gain some supplemental income here and help contribute to the community of Rolling Meadows. So we brought 6 months worth of food and beverage tax returns. Each of you have a copy. If you take a look here, our food and beverage sales are between approximately $20,000 to $27,000 every month. It's a significant amount of money in food and beverage. Helps to show that we are a restaurant here, and our main source of income is and always will be food and beverage. So as they say, the proof is in the pudding here. These numbers justify what we're doing and show you guys that we're a restaurant. A couple aldermen asked if we would bring in hood installation cost estimates. That's the second.
And this was another topic at the committee of the whole meeting that had come up. Some dollar amounts had been said, and at that point, Ryan and I had not. We weren't prepared at that meeting to have more specific numbers like this. So we apologize that we didn't have that at the last meeting. But we went through, and put together some more of the numbers here in a more accurate total here.
A couple of the other things that we want to point out is that we have a full-time cook. 7 days a week, every day we have a full-time cook. We get fresh food delivery every week. All of our food is used with fresh ingredients. We slice our own meats. We build our own pizzas. A lot of our appetizers and small plates, those are all handmade. It's a tapas-style food. That's what we've been. That's what we've been for 9 years between both locations. And, we're looking to keep that. It's been a good food situation for us, and we really would like to keep it that way. The other thing is we're an all-ages restaurant. We just left there tonight. We had 25 people in there, 20, and we had some kids in there with their parents. If we're looking to sneak through as some sort of a gaming cafe, gaming cafes are 21 and over only. So we're an all-ages restaurant. Families come in. We have kids all the time. We do have some new menu items coming. We did email Barry some of those. We're looking to expand on that. We have some grilled chicken sandwiches, some healthier options, some wraps, some salads, some vegetarian options.
And we have our grill. I believe all the members have been there and seen it. Laura, you may not have. I'm not sure if you went in the kitchen or not. Did you get a chance to go in the kitchen?
Can I comment? I can't comment. I'm sorry. This is just public.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So we're pretty sure everybody has seen the grill, but like Ryan's saying, we're expanding the menu, and a lot of the new items are going to be prepared using the grill, the panini sandwiches, and the other things that Ryan mentioned.
So, in conclusion here, I think this is pretty much all we have. We've been licensed as a restaurant for 5 years, and we meet every bit of what the ordinance requires. It's right there in black and white. It says that the ordinance requires an electric or gas grill. We have an electric grill. It does not say anything about requiring a hood. Some people have mentioned that the previous mayor, at his discretion, recommended a hood, required a hood, wanted a hood. The previous mayor is no longer here. And, we've been here in business for 5 years. We want to stay here in business. And we feel that we meet all the requirements. We're a restaurant. And we'd like to move forward with the gaming. Any questions?
This isn't the time for questions.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your time and look for your support.
Thanks for your time again.
Thank you. And Dave Pedersen, your name was second. Am I assuming that this was just a tag team endeavor? Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, those were the two names on the sign-in sheet, so we will move on to the pending ordinances in for second reading. And that consists of one item A, ordinance number 19-38, and that's to approve an amendment to the Meyer Plan Development for 2 vehicle charging stations and sign modifications at 1301 Meyer Drive. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. Thank you for the second, Alderman Bessetti. Is there any discussion on the matter? Seeing none, the question is, shall the ordinance be adopted? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Diastis.
Yes.
Sonoyka.
Yes.
Cannon.
Yes.
Bud Matts.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessetti.
Yes.
With 6 in favor and none opposed, the ordinance is approved. Moving right along then to our consent ordinances for first reading. This consists of 2 items, items B and C. Does any alderman wish to remove an item from the consent ordinances? Alderman Sonoyka.
C.
C. Okay. Well, now it consists of 1 item. The chair declares it in order for one motion to consider the one ordinance in one motion without debate. Is there such a motion to move this ordinance forward in first reading? Thank you, Alderman Bessetti. Thank you
Seconded.
for the second, Alderman Sonoyka. That ordinance B is 19-00, amend fiscal year 2019 budget and staffing plan. The question is, shall the ordinance be moved forward for second reading? Would the clerk please call the roll?
Sonoyka.
Yes.
Cannon.
Yes.
Bud Matts.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessetti.
Yes.
Diastis.
Yes.
With 6 in favor and none opposed, that ordinance will be moved forward to second reading. And that brings us circling back to C, which is ordinance number 19-00, amend the liquor code to approve a Class G1 liquor license for video gaming for Bigby's Poorhouse, located at 1649 Algonquin Road. Is there a motion to consider this ordinance? Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman Budmatz. Alderman Sonoyka, you pulled this. You can go ahead and take the liberties.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the last committee of the whole, there was some discussion about how restaurants were defined for the G1 ordinance and the intent of the G1 license for the city of Rolling Meadows. And based off of some of the comments during when the floor was open to the public, we were able to hear for the record that Bigby's Poorhouse is pulling in about between 20 and 27,000 in revenue per month in food and beverage alone. So many of us have also made site visits as well to this establishment, and I would like to make a motion to postpone this vote at this time to a future City Council meeting once we've had the opportunity to discuss the G1 license requirements at a future committee of the whole, preferably August 20th if we have time based off of city staff.
Okay. So to hear you correctly, you're making a motion to postpone this, correct?
Yes, making a motion to postpone the vote and then to include the item and the next committee of the whole.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Alderman Budmatz has made the second. So we should go forward with a vote on that, or is there a discussion to be had in advance? Alderman Diastis.
Thank you. I'm not going to be voting to postpone. I think we've got the information here, and the petitioner has provided us with enough information. So I will not be voting to postpone.
Okay. Alderman Cannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess the comment I would make is I think we can do both things. We could vote tonight and also add this to a future COW, since if we change the rules, they're not really going to affect this application to my knowledge. I guess I can stand to be corrected if someone has a different take on it. So I think we can do both, offer it up to come out on a future COW to talk about it to better refine the law and also vote on it today. I think most of us have had a good opportunity to take a look at it, and I think most of us have formed an opinion, I think. So thank you.
Okay.
Alderman Bessensi, hold on one second. Alderman Sonoyka, this will be your second opportunity at this.
I just wanted to clarify that because this ordinance is for a petition to receive a G1 license, if we were to postpone this first reading down the line, then we would also have the opportunity to amend the requirements. And since this is in flight, it would still be considered. So I just want to clarify if Alderman Cannon is referring to voting on this item tonight to either approve for a first reading and then have that time for future consideration for the G1 license requirements, and then either can vote again for the second reading while we make changes to the G1 license, or if you're referring to something else.
No, with that, we could do it that way.
Okay.
Okay. And then Alderman Bessensi.
That's actually a similar point I was going to make. I don't know if I feel real comfortable voting on a petition, potentially passing it, and then changing it for the before the second reading, because I think Alderman Sonoykis's intent here is it's not as much the petition, it's more the way the current ordinance is written. And I think that's what, if we are going to potentially look at how it is written, I don't necessarily feel it's right to pass something or not pass something today, because we don't necessarily know what we're ultimately going to be passing. And I know it is only the first reading.
Yeah, and I'm just a bit perplexed at this whole thing. The direction we're taking it, we as a council did have an opportunity to adjust the verbiage at a prior committee of the whole when this was brought to light. We did know that enrolling this G1 out as essentially a pilot, because we're still in the very embryonic stages of this. It's not like it's a 5-year-old license that we're handing out. We had opportunity to revisit this, so we wouldn't be up here now in a council meeting juggling this, whether we're going to discuss the change in verbiage or we're going to approve a business with the forward motion or not getting a G1 license. So at this time, I'd like to defer to the parliamentarian here in terms of what we can do at this point to either suspend the conversation and figure it out as a council, what we're doing with the language, or if we can go ahead and move forward with a first reading of an application and still parallel what we're doing with this language.
Well, technically you can do it both ways, but the motion to postpone will guarantee that you're able to do that. If the motion to postpone is defeated and then the original motion to approve the ordinance is also defeated, then it fails first reading. So either way, you'd have to take it back again. However, the motion to postpone is what's at issue right now.
Correct. So what I would like to do as chair of this is move forward with a vote on the motion, because we did have a second to postpone this. And so if I could, Judy, if I could have a call of roll for the motion to postpone.
Sure. Cannon.
No.
Budmats.
Yes.
Veneziano.
No.
Bessensi.
Yes.
Diastis.
No.
Sonoyka.
Yes.
So that puts us at
Mayor,
a
you
tie.
have the authority to vote on the tie on a motion to postpone.
Okay. And so if we postpone this, we can still go ahead and continue to pursue adjusting the verbiage, because I believe that that's what we as a city need to do, is tighten up the language. So my vote would be yes to postpone. And then a step 2 now is, do we have to pursue the application as being requested in a vote, or where does that leave us?
No, that ends the matter.
Wonderful. Well, then it's settled. It's been postponed. That can now move us along to the next item, which is new business. And that new business is a motion to approve payment of bills on warrant for August 13, 2019. Is there a motion to approve the warrant?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Cannon, do I have a second?
Seconded.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. Is there any discussion on the warrant? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Bud Matts.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
Diastis.
Yes.
Sunoika.
Yes.
Cannon.
Yes.
6 in favor and none opposed. That warrant is approved. This brings us to consent resolutions, and that is consisting of one item. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. Thank you for the second, Alderman Diastis. Resolution number 19-R-90. It's to amend the Rolling Meadows Fire Department's participation agreement with Northwest Community Hospital and the Mobile Integrated Healthcare Pilot Program. Is there any discussion on this item? Alderman
Thank you, Mayor.
Veneziano.
This agreement was in place before my appointment, and I support the agreement. However, to be transparent, I'm going to abstain from voting on this since NCH is my employer.
Thank you for sharing and clarifying that. Is there any other conversation on this matter? Alderman Cannon?
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. I guess I would just like to hear from our fire chief to just ask how this program's been working up to date, just to kind of give us a little insight as to what's going on.
Thank you. We couldn't move forward on the start of the program until we had the agreement. So,
we're not doing this right now?
With this, after tonight, and you approve this resolution, then we'll move forward. We have a start date with Northwest Community of September 9th of this year.
I'm sorry. I thought we were doing it right. Excuse me.
Any further discussion or questions? Well, seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Bessesi.
Yes.
Diastis.
Yes.
Sunoika.
Yes.
Cannon.
Yes.
Bud Matts.
Yes.
Veneziano's abstaining.
That makes 4 in favor.
5.
Right, 5 in favor, excuse me, and 1 abstaining. This resolution is adopted. That now brings the council to other business and reports. The mayor does not have any appointments at this time, nor do I have any proclamations. Is there any city clerk's report?
Not at this time.
Thank you. That would push us along to the city staff reports. We have the first item from city staff, community items of interest. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mayor Gallo, and obviously City Council. I have 3 to add. Obviously, what the mayor mentioned, the first one is school will be open soon. Wednesday and Thursday, they actually start. So please drive carefully. And again, when you see the arm out on a school bus, if you're in that 2-lane road, you do need to stop. If you're in the 4-lane, the alternate side, you do not need to stop, but it really would be good if you do start. Obviously, we do want to mention what the mayor did mention just recently about the next 2. We do want to thank everybody who attended the first annual, I hope, Family Night with the Cops on Saturday, August 3rd. Yes, the chief did end up in the water 3 times. One of those, he was sort of hidden anyway. So we do appreciate next year we're going to have big softballs instead of the tennis balls. It goes in. It was Shark Week, so we did try putting a shark in there, but he took it out before. So we do want to mention also thank you to everybody who attended National Night Out on Tuesday, August 6th. A special thank you goes out to Commander John Searcher, Sergeant John Manfredi, Police Officer Carlos Saez, and Police Assistant Maria Sullivan for all the work that they did for both the Family Night with the Cops and National Night Out events. Obviously, we would want to also thank all the Crime Stoppers who were at different events, the Community Event Foundation, where they were over there, and we hope to see everyone next year. Reminder that National Night Out is held on the first Tuesday in August annually. We do want to mention, coming up, and you'll hear more about it, I did bring props this time, that Friday, this Friday, so August 16th, is the 5th annual Wind Down by the Creek. There will be more information coming from Assistant to the City Manager Lori Cizek in just a little bit. But we do want to remind people that while the event in Kimball Hill Park happens between 6 to 11 p.m., the music from 7th Heaven only runs from 7 to 10 p.m. So we do appreciate everybody coming out to that. And again, limited colors, limited glasses, different from last year. We do have additional information coming out soon. The other thing that we do want to mention is the Rolling Meadows Community Event Foundation will be conducting a fundraiser at Panera Bread located at 1321 Gulf Road on Wednesday, August 28th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Panera Bread will generously donate 20% of their sales to the foundation, and this is dine-in or donate event, so you can take it out with you too. You do need to show a flyer when you go there. It can be a paper flyer or on your telephone. And again, we do want to reiterate what the mayor has stated in the past. The foundation is really able to support additional events and actually make them a little bit larger. We do want to appreciate all the volunteers. If you would like to volunteer an hour there, an hour here, just the assistant to the city manager, Lori Cizak. We do want to mention that the next Friday Rock is scheduled for September 13th. This event will also be at Kimball Hill Park, and is from 7 to 10 p.m. This time the music will be provided by the musical group Billy Elton. Then the other thing, I was going to bring a duck, but the 12th annual duck race will be held on Friday, September 13th. This annual race is still sponsored by the City Environmental Committee and the Rolling Meadows Park District Foundation. It is scheduled to be held at the waterfront, or the waterfall, I should say, which is the bridge over the creek on Kimball Hill. It starts at 6:30, so this way you can go straight to the Friday Rock at 7, because I can only say it once. Ducks are 5 ducks a duck, or a quack pack for 5 ducks is $28. The next bike ride is sponsored by the Environmental Committee, is scheduled for Saturday, September 28th, starting at 9 a.m. at Community Church, 2720 Kirchhoff Road. The next city market is scheduled for Saturday, September 28th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Community Church. Also, we do want to remind folks, and we will be advertising this soon, that we will do a meet and greet with the City Council also on that Saturday, September 28th, between 10 and 11, also at the City Market. We do want to thank the Meadows Cruise Nights that are back in the downtown at 2401 Kirchhoff Road. I'm sure that they'll be really happy when Kirchhoff Road is done. The cruise nights happen between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Fridays, and this goes all the way to September 6th. If you want additional information, please contact or go to www.meadowscruisenights.com. And then, obviously, before I add the 3 new ones, the last thing that we do want to remind is this is one of the months that we do the electronic news and views, which we call e-news and views. If you have not visited, please visit the city webpage at cityrm.org. Click on the News and Views tab, and again, this is a sister publication to the printed newsletter. The first item that is not in front of you that I do want to add is actually a traffic safety campaign is actually going on at this point in time. Rolling Meadows Police Department and obviously police departments with the state of Illinois are doing this planned traffic safety campaign, and they're looking for drunk, unbuckled, or distracted drivers. So this goes all the way through September 3rd. We hope everybody has a safe Labor Day weekend, and again, this is going on at this point in time. The second one that I want to add in is a new Hangout Cafe at 1937 Plum Grove Road. It's coffee, teas, and smoothies, and they are working on desserts. Obviously, we want to welcome them to the area, too. The third item that I want to add, and actually this was in our Friday letter, and it goes back to a congratulations to the police department. They've been working for about a year, but they received Illinois Law Enforcement Accreditation. Well, actually, Tier 1. And hopefully at a future city council, we'll be doing an award for them, too. And it's a great honor for them to be accredited. It's something really good for them, too. But again, to all the officers who worked on it, all the sergeants who worked on it, and Chief Nowacki, greatly appreciated for the accreditation. With that, those are the 3 items, and those are items of interest.
Thank you, Manager Krumstock. That moves us down the list to fiscal year 2020 through fiscal year 2024 Capital Improvements Plan. Ms. Gallier?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the council packet tonight under staff reports is the FY 2020-2024 Capital Improvements Plan, which culminates about a year's worth of work. It is presented tonight just as a staff report, and it is available on the city's website at www.cityrm.org under the finance page. And you may also find it under the transparency tab. It is the 7th year that the CIP has been reviewed and discussed by the Ad Hoc Capital Improvements Committee. And what we're going to do is present this at the Committee of the Whole meeting next week on August 20th. And we will also provide a PowerPoint presentation at that time. Just a couple reminders, this is a snapshot only, and it's not intended to be a budget, but it is our core financial planning tool for our capital program. So that will be presented at the August 20th Committee of the Whole meeting. Tonight is just a staff report and letting you know where it is. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And this next item is, after these next few days of school are going to be upon us, and Wind Down by the Creek report sounds like it'll be much needed. Ms. Cezak.
Agreed. Thank you, Mayor. Wind Down by the Creek is back again this year and better than ever. We are thrilled to have Ben Franklin Bank at 3266 Kirchhoff Road as our major sponsor for another year of this popular music fest. This event is free and family-friendly and will be held this Friday, August 16th from 6 to 11 at Kimball Hill Park. The popular band Seventh Heaven will play favorites from all decades from 7 to 10 p.m., while our drink sponsors, the Stadium Club, Daisy's Cafe, and Leaky Keg Brewing, will provide a fine selection of wine, beer, and Bob Chin Mai Tais to please many tastes. Drinks will be $5 each, and you must be 21 years or older to purchase alcohol. Purchase delicious taste sensations at the event from Famous Frankie's Hot Dogs, Cheesy's, Twisted Classics, Reps Place, Daisy's Cafe, G-Force Concessions, Brain Freeze Ice Cream, Papa Severio's, The Cookie Garden, and Auntie V's Treats. Thank you to the Rolling Meadows Park District, Community Events Foundation, and the City of Rolling Meadows for your partnership to bring this event to our residents. So grab your lawn chair and blanket and get ready for a summer celebration at the 5th annual Wind Down by the Creek. All proceeds from this event will support future community events in Rolling Meadows like this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Sounds like a good time. Ribbon cutting ceremony for the Euclid Avenue bike path and pedestrian pathway. Mr. Horn.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, we recently completed a real important east-west connection to our bike path system along Euclid Avenue from approximately 200 feet east of Salt Creek Lane, where it connects the bike path just to the south of Euclid along the Salt Creek, and extends about a half mile from the Salt Creek to Rowling Road. It's a very important connection to our bike path system. There are some facts and figures regarding the costs associated with that. This project was done with Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program, or ITEP grant funds, with also the assistance of the the Village of Arlington Heights. So we are planning next Thursday to have that, August 22nd at 4 o'clock to have that ribbon cutting. It will be a small ceremony. There will be chairs out there. We hope that residents will bring their bikes and travel the bike path and help us celebrate the opening of that path.
Very cool. Thank you. Looking at a draft for the Committee of the Whole agenda coming up on August 20th. Manager Krumstock.
I guess that I'm revising it. But what I would actually say is recreational marijuana, we do need a conversation about that. That is time sensitive because if we're going to do something, we need to get something to the state. We'll have backyard chicken discussion, part 2. Emergency operation management training for elected officials. That was the one that we postponed from last time. We will do that this time. We will have a CIP discussion, a little more detailed from this. We need a discussion on billboards. That is one of the discussions that's happening at the Planning and Zoning Commission, but also on the zoning code. We also have scheduled right now an AV room audio conferencing. I do have that additional information, so hopefully that will be a quick. That was from a past Committee of the Whole. We do have a city code section about censorship or expulsion. If Alderman Budmetz would be very nice, could we move it again? Because from tonight's discussion, I have a G1 discussion now brought back. So
I'd be willing to do that.
So that would be now 7 with the G1 added back on.
Okay. And while we're on the topic of drafts and agendas, you have another one for the 27th of August City Council agenda.
So for the last meeting of the council in August, we do have obviously the second reading for the budget and staffing plan. At this point in time, with the postponement that was done here, B would probably be moved off of the agenda. We do have the first reading of the animal feeding ordinance. That was from a past committee of the whole discussion. Obviously, pay some bills. There's an authorized a purchase of another vehicle. Weber Drive Phase 1 engineering services, Brookview Sunset Sanitary Sewer engineering services, and approve Phase 1 of the Hicks Euclid Bike Path engineering. And then for our items, for staff-wise, we have community items of interest, the 2019 new business list, the second quarter financials for 2019, and then at this point in time, we are scheduling 2 closed sessions, one dealing with land acquisition and personnel.
Wonderful. So that just about wraps it up for city staff reports. This brings us to matters not on the agenda. Are there such matters not on tonight's agenda? Alderman Bud Matts.
In discussing the potential items at the COW for related to the G1, I have to say that I've been noticing more and more signs amongst the various vendors of gaming, slot signs and banners, and now a really nice full-size billboard. So I think the original intent was that we wouldn't turn this into a huge advertisement for gambling. And so I'd like that to be discussed, and maybe even that piece looked at when we also tightened up or clean up this, so that everybody understands what 10% of the window space area or what that really means, because it seems that it's either not being followed or not being enforced or whatever. But it just at this point there seems to be a lot of signage concerning gambling, and some of it just seems a little bit over the top. So I've had complaints from residents, and honestly, justifiably so. I mean, so if we could look at that when we look at this as well on the discussion at the COW, seeing that we're looking at that particular item, it seems to be part and parcel of the same thing.
I think that's noted to make a subcomponent for signage and technicalities due to billboards and location. It's absolutely fitting, so we will do that. Are there other issues or matters not on the agenda?
I have one,
none?
Mr. Mayor. Sorry.
Go on. Ms. Alderman Sonoyka.
Very quickly, I'm looking at the 2019 schedule for city markets, and on the Rolling Meadows website, it says that we have one on August 24th. Was that canceled?
That is still going on. So that is indeed the next city market, August 24th, and then the last one will be September 28th.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
All right. Any further matters not on the agenda? Well, be advised that there is a request to go into closed session, and it does require a motion and a roll call. So do I have a motion?
Second.
Alderman Diaz is the
Motion.
first, and Alderman Bessetti with the second. Is there any discussion on the matter? Alderman Diastis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Based on the sensitive nature of tonight's topic, I'd like to make a motion to postpone the closed session until the entire City Council and the City Attorney be present.
Just for a bit of clarity around that, I appreciate you saying that. What tonight's intent was just to bring you up to speed, and you missed the last one, so I know you're familiar with it, but just to do it in an official context and then review the documentation we had, and no official votes can take place, and it will be a reoccurring conversation that we do have. Just in consideration, I don't know if you want to still continue and have somebody second your motion, or if we just proceed.
Yes, please.
Is there a second to the motion? Without a second, I believe it fails. And so, any other discussion before I go ahead and have the clerk call the roll? Judy, would you call the roll, please?
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessetti.
Yes.
Diastis.
No.
Sonoyka.
Yes.
Cannon.
Yes.
Bud Matts.
Yes.
5 in favor, 1 opposed. We do move from open to closed session. The audience and press are advised that we do not anticipate returning back to open session.